Wiggle, wiggle.
Like.
Wiggle, wiggle.
Saludos amigos, bienvenidos a una nueva edición del Calentón. And today we have the Hollywood hunk, Ryan Nemeth. How are you, Ryan?
What's going on? I'm feeling good. Thanks for having me on.
Man, you have an amazing career. You have a monumental moment this past weekend because you did a tag team match with your brother. For what I read, that was the first time that actually you make it like as an actual team, the Nemeth brothers. How do you feel about that match and challenging for the TNA tag team championships as a duo now? Because you have done your career, your brother have done your career, and now your paths like comes together in terms of the wrestling business. Because people doesn't know, but you do like a tour, a comedy tour together. But in the wrestling business, we haven't seen much from the two of you together. How do you feel of having that chance and in the huge platform that is TNA?
Well, I feel awesome about it. I don't feel great that we did not win the tag team titles, but hopefully we'll get another chance. It's great because we've been doing so much together that isn't wrestling. We've been doing the comedy tour, Hunkamania. We just did Vegas. We just did Philadelphia, Chicago, Los Angeles. We're going to do one in Cleveland also for SummerSlam. And that's fun. And we film a lot of stuff together. We did the Wanted Man short where, Nick Nemeth, the Wanted Man, is fighting off zombies and all that. I'm so proud of that.
That was awesome.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. And, we worked on Heel together, my short film, and Daddy's Boys, a few other comedy things. So to finally be able to wrestle with my brother is incredible. Okay. So we actually teamed up. I won the tag team title shot with Matt Hardy, but since Matt Hardy wanted to fight for the world title, my brother stepped in, and we had one win against ABC, Chris Bay and Ace Austin, and they are an amazing tag team, and it was so great to work with them on a TNA Impact main event. And we went on to Against All Odds, and unfortunately we came up short. But, to be out there with my brother, to come out there, be introduced with him, to wrestle with him, to fight, the top tag team in TNA alongside my brother was just incredible. And we're both going to be at Summer Madness at WWC this weekend in Puerto Rico. So, we each have our own matches, but I will be in support of him, and I'm sure he will support me. So if it comes down to it, we'll help each other out, but hopefully we don't need to.
Man, your career 2 years ago looked completely different as at this moment. Now you have you were on another company, and you were that much showcased like many people thought it would be. Mm-hmm. Now having the chance, like stepping out of that place and being able like to rebrand your brand actually and showing your talent, how different of approach do you have now in your career when like you have been in some place for a couple of years and then you need like to rebuild again and start something from new? But now this rebuild have worked pretty well because in an expected manner, like your brother also is part of this new journey. But you have this chance of being on New Japan television. You have the chance to be in TNA. We saw you in GCW. Now you have come to Puerto Rico. How this rebuild have worked for you until this moment, if you can put it into words?
Yeah, of course I can put it into words. Doing what I'm doing now has been something that I've wanted to do since I was in FCW and NXT. And it's interesting. In wrestling, you are not really in charge. There are many factors. It's not merit-based the way that pro football or soccer or basketball might be. If you're good at shooting three-pointers, you will advance. In wrestling, it's tricky because there's entire other factors, an owner, a promoter, writers, other people who don't want you to be there or whatever it may be. So I don't have to go into too much detail, but in NXT, my path was like this, and then suddenly it started to go like this. That's out of my hands, and there's nothing I can do about it,
Yeah.
And in the company I was previously wrestling in the past few years, my career was like this, and then suddenly I don't know where it was. You tell me where it was.
Yeah, but I remember like when you appeared the first time, everybody was like, oh, they have something over there.
It seemed
and
like it,
and
yeah.
as you said, then we didn't see you anymore. And what I was like that because
Yeah.
many people tell that they have many talent, but we have seen guys that have take your way and your journey,
Mhm.
and we have seen how long they have come. They have come to Puerto Rico. They have gone to different places, and it's not because lack of talent. Is what you said. Maybe are many factors
Many
that is.
factors, and most of them are out of your hands, you know?
Yeah,
All I can tell you is that anytime I'm in a wrestling ring or on a stage, the crowd is reacting very much. So you would see the small segments I would get on Dynamite or Rampage. The crowd is booing me because they hate me. 'Cause I'm very good at getting a reaction from the crowd, and I appreciate all those times that I was able to do that, and I appreciate the fans for reacting. Whether I fit into one person's ideas for storylines or not, I can't control that, and that's okay. But I will say, on a positive note, in TNA, I am treated with very much respect and with the care and respect that someone as creative and athletic as myself should be. So it's very nice. It's very refreshing, and it's great to know what my match is each week. It's nice to get onto an airplane and think, I know who I'm going to be fighting this week. That is a nice
yeah,
feeling. I
yeah.
can
Having
prepare mentally. There's stakes. It means something. It matters. The fans can follow it logically as a narrative and get behind it. And thank you so much for having me, TNA.
I think that is better for the wrestler. It's a better preparation because you know where you're heading to, what you can expect, what you know about the wrestler that you're working with. So that's something
Mhm.
that you can begin working even in the airplane, in the car, in the
Yeah.
hotel. But like arriving to a place and doesn't know what you're gonna do is probably detrimental to the actual talent too.
It is wonderful to get on an airplane knowing what my matches will be. And that's not to say I know who's going to win or lose or what's leading afterwards, but it's nice to know at least that much. I could mentally and creatively prepare, and it's good for fans to know what they're going to see that night, whether they want to watch the show or buy a ticket or attend the show. It's a great way to do things, and I think if you watch Impact for the past few months, and if you've watched Against All Odds, you know that roster is absolutely stacked, and the things that we're doing with NXT and WWE, the back and forth is so fun. You never know who's going to be showing up where. To see Jordan Grace going back and forth, having bangers at NXT, and then having Tatum come over to Against All Odds as a surprise. That is why I watched wrestling as a child, was for surprises like that, and to know that there is actually this open gateway
Door.
between the two companies is so fun. It's so fun.
And you were part of a great moment, a viral moment, and it was the Jeff Hardy return.
How
That-
about that? It was,
yeah,
you know, I've been a fan in a crowd when that has happened. I've been watching on TV when that's happened, and I've been a wrestler in the backstage when that has happened. I've never been in the ring on a live pay-per-view when that has happened until this week. I've never had a pay-per-view match until this week, which is insane because I've been wrestling for a decade, but a lot of cool things have been happening recently. And I'll tell you, the crowd reaction when that music hit was deafening. That I was in the ring just smiling ear to ear, thinking, "This is so awesome! I can't believe it!" And that's the first time I saw him. I mean, it was a good surprise when he was in the ring helping me up and shaking hands. I was like, I was kind of thinking, "Hey, remember me from AEW? Hey, what's going on?"
yeah.
Because it was such a good, well kept surprise that I had no idea that was happening. It's great. It was amazing. I loved it.
I think that that's the best way to do it.
Oh, yeah.
But now we're speaking about Puerto Rico, and you talk about an open gate, and you're part of TNA right now, but you will be facing someone that is part of the NWA,
There it is.
and
Yeah.
is Brian Idol, and that will be happening in Puerto Rico. That is a kind of a very strange mix of opportunities here in Puerto Rico. But you have come to Puerto Rico 3 or 4 times. How
Mhm.
have been your experience working with WWC? You had the chance of having something with Gilbert. Now you
Yep.
have something with Brian Idol. Your brother is in a rivalry with Eddie Colon too. So
Yeah.
how have feel like since January you have been like part of the main storylines, even not being there all the time, but you have been part of the history of the actual storylines in Puerto Rico. So that's
This
kind of
is okay. I'm
cool.
glad you asked this because this is another thing that I've been feeling very, very, very excited. I get goosebumps when I think about it because when I was first learning to wrestle, Rip Rogers was my trainer, and he wrestled in WWC so long. He was a staple there, and he would talk about it in such mythical, legendary terms. And I thought, wow, I wonder someday if I'll ever go there. And so when Eddie Primo's company, the company, when they invite me over there, I don't know who, I'm kind of nervous. I've never been there. I've never been there at all. And I definitely haven't wrestled there. So to go there and be part of this legendary, generations long, decades long, established, very respected promotion, like I said, it makes my skin tingle. It's just so exciting. And the fans were just what I expected, they go crazy, they were, the first time I was there, they didn't like me so much. So they were yelling. I had to ask what the phrases and words meant, and they were not very kind.
Yeah,
They were
I remember the chant that they tell you the first time, but the second time that you came over, like that changed because
they were a
you
little
were
nicer.
like, yeah, because you were working with somebody that they hated more than yourself. So
As it
that's
turns
how
out,
the
yeah, Gilbert turned on them, and so they turned on him, and so now they like me, which I think. Well, I hope they like me. They did last time.
yeah.
So Brian Idol, I've seen wrestle. I've never wrestled with him, but I've been on shows with him for years now, and we've been seeing each other mostly in Puerto Rico, and I think it's pretty exciting because this will be a first time matchup. And I may be saying something a little risque right now, but I think that this is a match of two hunks. This is a matchup of two men with great physiques and very beautiful features. I won't take anything away from him. Brian Idol is an idol. He's incredibly handsome. But when it comes to who's going to win or not, I mean, I'm not going to be distracted because what am I jealous of his looks? No, I think I'm the hottest one there. I think I'm the hottest thing going in pro wrestling today. I'm the hunk. I'm the Hollywood hunk. And so Brian Idol, all of our niceties are going to have to go out the window because it's kind of a battle between TNA and NWA right now, and it's happening live in Puerto Rico on Summer Madness on a card that's already stacked. You have my brother going against Eddie Colon. Now, those two have known each other for decades. They were in WWE together this whole time. It's going to be a family affair here, and it's Hunk versus the Idol. I mean, you can't get better than that.
Man, it was an honor having you and knowing your stuff and the how you feel about Puerto Rico, because we have seen many wrestlers over this year coming to Puerto Rico, and all of
Mhm.
them have speak like wonderful things about how the
Good.
fans have worked over here. And hearing yourself that the first time you wasn't that love, and now they love you. So
That's a
that's
nice way to put it. They were saying the worst things I've ever heard to
yeah.
me.
I remember they were saying pendejo.
Yeah,
That is a slang from us. So that's like kind of asshole,
I think they
but
called me an asshole, a bitch, a cocksucker, and a number of
they
very bad things. But the second time, they were saying, let's go hunk, let's go hunk. So I hope this
yeah,
time is more of that.
probably gonna be that way. So this coming Saturday, it will be Summer Madness. Brian Idol against Ryan Nemeth. Uh, where the people can follow you on social media to know anything that is happening on your
Oh,
career?
sure, yeah. I had to start a new account on Instagram, but on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, it's all the same. Rye Nem Nem. I'm on there. You'll see me.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for coming here, and
Thanks
we
for
hope
having
to
me.
see you on Saturday and having an awesome match against a Hunk versus an Idol.
Hunk versus the idol, baby.